Hello everyone, welcome to the first lecture for Mr. Roughton's World History class. I'm one of Mr. Roughton's assistants, Dr. Washington. I'll be hosting this lecture on the Roman Empire. It is going to be so awesome. The instructions you see above will be the same all year long, so make sure you learn them. Here's some intro info for you. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Ancient Rome. From here, an empire sent out armies which mastered the known world. A superpower unrivaled in its ingenuity and its savagery. This was the glorious civilization that shaped our own. For 500 years, Rome ruled supreme. The empire, they said, would last forever. But then, it was all just ripped apart. This is the story of how Rome fell.
Man, this is cool already. Mr. Roughton, you rock, dude. The title for this section, as I said, is the Roman Empire. That should be written at the top of your notes. Okay, enough instructions, let's do this thing. We'll begin this lecture, and almost every lecture all year, with geography. Geography, remember, explains the physical area where the civilization was, and what the land there was like. Here's us in Southern California flying over to Europe. That is where the Roman Empire was located. This is the Roman Empire at its largest size. As you can see, it covered most of Europe, and also parts of Asia and Africa. It completely surrounded the Mediterranean Sea. This was pretty cool for Rome, since it helped make travel easier. The empire was about 2,500 miles north to south, and about 3,500 miles east to west. It was just a bit larger than the United States. Just in case you didn't write down notes on the last slide, here's the key points again. Make sure you don't miss them in the future though. You don't have to see the words to write notes. The empire began in what is today Italy, you know, that boot country in the middle. It surrounded the Mediterranean Sea, and was about 2,500 miles north to south and 3,500 east to west, a bit larger than the U.S. The capital city of Rome was pretty much right in the middle. See, you could have gotten that on your own. Next we are going to talk about Roman technology. You need to understand that technology is really anything new to them. They didn't have computers and stuff obviously, but they did advance what was available. Well, this is kind of creepy. I might have nightmares now. Thanks a lot, Mr. Roughton. Whenever you see this freaky video, that means there will be a scenario coming up that you have to think about. You should play along. I mean, at least it will help get those creepy brains out of your head. Imagine the following situation. New York, 3,000 miles away from us here in California, is attacked. The president is not in nearby Washington, D.C., but instead in Riverside, giving Mr. Roughton an award for being awesome. In today's world, how would the president find out about the attack, and what could he do about it? Yep, right, a phone call, or even a news report could be done almost instantly. The president could call the military, and have them send in planes within a very short time. But now imagine a similar attack in the Roman Empire 2,000 years ago. What would happen then? It would take weeks, and probably months before the emperor even know about the attack.
Trajan enabled the import and export of goods by expanding the massive system of Roman roads. By the 4th century AD, over 53,000 miles of roads spanned the empire. They were an intricate network of arteries that branched off from the nerve center in Rome. Without the modern conveniences of faxes and phones, roads became an important communication link between Rome and its provinces.
The Roman army has, I think, a pretty well-deserved reputation for its engineering skills, and it did indeed construct a lot of the infrastructure of the Roman Empire. Most famously, of course, it was responsible for the great network of trunk roads which span the whole of the Mediterranean basin. And these were built primarily for official purposes, for moving troops and for government intelligence services.
These ancient highways were first built to help the Roman army travel to the remote reaches of the provincial frontier to battle enemies. Over time, the roads became the fastest way to transport goods, either by chariot or horseback. Eventually, this delivery system evolved into the earliest postal service.
Of course, Rome's control of this enormous empire also meant that she could import almost anything she wanted from the ends of the earth to the city of Rome, again, to make that statement that Rome was the center of imperial power.
By 100 AD, all roads led to Rome. These stone freeways enabled information to flow from the capital to the empire, such as trends in architecture and city planning.
Roads were not the only thing the Romans built, though. They also created these canal-like things called aqueducts that moved water into towns. They were really quite incredible. They used no electricity at all, so they had to be built at a perfect slope. They had to tilt just the tiniest bit downward, so the water would flow using only gravity. If they ran into a mountain, they often would dig a tunnel straight on through it using nothing but picks and shovels. It was incredibly hard work, but bringing water into the towns allowed them to grow considerably.
Most Roman cities were the aqueducts. Like Rome, most provincial cities needed water, and lots of it. As a result, the Romans engineered massive aqueducts to carry water from nearby springs along a series of channels, then through lead pipes which fed the public fountains, bathhouses, and even some wealthy homes.
Aqueducts work purely on the basis of gravity, and this shows you the tremendous skill in the engineering, because you have to find sufficient water supplies to feed into the given population of whatever town it is you're dealing with, but you've also got to find them from the right places such that you're essentially flowing downhill. Without water, most of this lifestyle can't function, because there are very few places which naturally have enough water to support a population of a few thousand.
The Romans also created a sophisticated plumbing system. Only the rich had private latrines. Most citizens in the provinces used public lavatories, long stone benches with a series of conspicuous holes. These outdoor bathrooms also became social gatherings, where citizens gossiped with each other while tending to their own personal business. During Trajan's reign, the empire began to change. The capital of Rome was becoming less and less important.
The main towns, especially the city of Rome itself, were absolutely stunning. The buildings were large, clean, and had a very unique design. We call the building styles of a culture their architecture. Here's a photograph of what one of those buildings, the Pantheon, looks like today. Remember, this building is like 1 billion years old. Okay, like 2000, but still it's really old. It is still in a pretty good shape. Those dudes were master architects. Here's what it would have looked like back then. This is downtown Rome. Not looking too good, huh? Not only is this stuff old, but Rome was invaded by a group of angry barbarians who we'll talk about later. Look at it the way it would have been back then, though. This is not some village with mud huts. This was a true, modern-looking city. Amazing. Here's another view of the same area. This was known as the Roman Forum. If you look really closely, you can see the Colosseum in the background. 2,000 years ago it would have looked quite different. Rome was a fully built, packed city. There were apartments, temples, and shops, everything you'd expect from a modern city.